morning. Welcome to the Orange County Emergency Operations Center. I'm joined today by Sheriff John Mina. We also have Ms. Sally Thielen from Duke Energy who has joined us, and we have our emergency manager for Orange County, Division Chief Laura Lee Avery, who is also with us. There's some bit of good news today. The good news this morning that the National Weather Service released is the fact that Orange County has now been downgraded to a tropical storm. As far as the winds are concerned, Orange County is currently experiencing sustained winds at 30 to 40 miles per hour and gusts up to 50 miles per hour, so significantly lower than what had been originally projected. The National Weather Service projects Tropical Storm Ian will begin to leave Orange County at 8 p.m. tonight, and we're looking at the tropical storm winds out of the county by approximately 1 a.m. Later tonight as well. While Orange County is weathering the storm fairly well, I am going to say that we are cautiously optimistic. The worst of the storm has passed. However, we continue to have trees down and roads flooded with a few power lines down as well. That means that it is not time for our residents to re-engage in normal social activities or leave home. We're asking you to simply stay put at this time. Stay home. Stay off the roadways if you can. There are certainly some people who have to go out because of the nature of the work that they do. But for the general population, now is not the time to go out and to socialize. You should be staying home. The other thing that I will tell you is that we, in terms of the projected rainfall, we didn't do so bad there either. We had been anticipated to receive approximately 24 inches of rainfall, and so far what we have measured here within the area is about half of that. The average rainfall across the county was 8 to 12 inches. However, there were some areas that got as much as 16 inches of rain. In terms of what will happen between now and the remainder of today going into tomorrow morning, it's projected that we will receive an additional 1 to 2 inches of rain before the storm leaves the area, and I'm talking about right here in Orange County. Now, some of the surrounding counties and areas are likely going to have a little bit more rain than that, but that's the news for us here within Orange County. I also want to share with you that for the remainder of the day, we're going to continue to have some flash flooding in various places within the county, but we should see that begin to dissipate as the day goes forward. One of the most significant rescues that we had in a flooded area was the Orla Vista area, which is in the West Orange County area and the area of Kirkman Road and Old Winter Garden Road in that area. Our fire crews, assisted by law enforcement personnel, evacuated approximately 30 people who live in what we call the Hope Circle area there in the Orla Vista community. Those individuals were evacuated to Ocoee High School, which is one of our shelters that's open at this time. You may recall that yesterday we had fire crews that worked with our Lynx public bus system to also go into the Orla Vista area, and they evacuated people yesterday. And I'm told that there was some 300 people that were evacuated from our mobile home communities and the Orla Vista area and some low-lying areas into our shelters. And today we have approximately 200 people with special needs who remain in our shelters. We have another approximately 1,300 people who are in the current shelters. Those numbers are going to change. They may go up or down as the day goes on, but our shelters remain operational if you need to have shelter. Orange County Utilities has indicated that they do not have any customers without water at this time, which is good news. And I will tell you that Orange County Utilities, OUC reported that they do not have any customers without water. So Orange County Utilities, nor does OUC have any customers who are presently without water. However, we do have a significant number of persons in our community who are without power. We have between the two main energy companies, the Orlando Utilities Commission and Duke Energy, we have approximately 200,000 customers in Orange County who are without power. You're going to hear a little bit more from Duke Energy in just a few moments, who will talk to you about their customer base. The Orlando Utilities Commission did not send a representative here at this time, but they did provide a statement that I want to read for you. The statement is that there are approximately 70,000 of their customers who are without power in the Metro Orlando area, and about 11,000 of their customers in the St. Cloud area. OUC storm assessors are actively assessing our system or their system, and will continue to do so while conditions remain safe. Line technicians will pause their work when wind speeds reach 35 miles per hour. Storm assessors will continue up until 45 miles per hour, and all crews will be mindful of flooding and other unsafe conditions. The Orlando Utilities says they are grateful to the OUC line and water technicians, as well as the many in-state and out-of-state crews who are supporting their efforts, including the more than 100 who are already here within our area, and the many others who will join in the area tomorrow. They said that they'd like to remind everyone that they should never touch a down power line or wire, and instead they should report it to their utility provider. OUC goes on to say that customers are encouraged to visit the ouc.com/storm center website for important information. They ask that you also sign up for their weather alerts if you are, or outage alerts, I should say, if you are an OUC customer. They are able to provide these alerts in English and Spanish by texting REG to 69682. In other words, REG to my OUC. And so with that, I'm going to ask Sheriff Mina to come forward to say a few words, and following Sheriff Mina, we're going to have the Duke representative also come up, and then we'll open it up for any questions that you may have. All right, Sheriff Mina.
Thank you, Mayor, and good morning to everyone. I want to reiterate to everyone to stay indoors, stay sheltered. As the Mayor stated, there's a lot of standing water out there. We've had a significant flooding throughout parts of Orange County, and we're still having some pretty strong wind gusts, so I'd encourage everyone to stay inside at this time. Our deputies have been responding to calls all morning, mostly check the well-being calls, but they're out and about assessing some of the damage, and they too assisted with the evacuation with the residents at Orla Vista, including some pets as well. As you know, we have many high water vehicles that at our disposal, boats and other things. So if anyone needs help because of the flooding, please don't hesitate to reach out. Our deputies and our first responders are doing, once again in this community, a tremendous job. So I want to thank them, all of them, our firefighters and deputies, and our dispatchers here. We have dispatchers here sleeping. That have worked some long hours, and one I was talking to, she doesn't even know what kind of damage she has at her home. So, and I know we have several deputies who had their homes flooded as well, but yet they continue to be out here helping the people in our community. So, again, stay inside as the storm subsides. Again, the reminder: stay away from down power lines. Stay away from standing water, please. And know that the Orange County Sheriff's Office will be out there in mass. We have lots of additional personnel. And again, very, very proud of the first responders here in Central Florida. Some of the best in the business and very used to and decades of experience responding to hurricanes before, during, and after to help get our community through this. So this time I'll turn it over to Sally Phelan from Duke Energy.
Thank you. Hello there. Currently, we're at about 140,000 customers out in the Orange County area. That's roughly 25% of our customer base here. As you can imagine, the conditions have not been ideal for us to get out. We're in our very early phases right now of damage assessment, which is our first process we do once a storm is moving through. As soon as the conditions are allowable to let us get some of our restoration work underway safely, we will do that. We mobilized about 10,000 resources down here to the area where we have 3 main staging sites. One's located at the Villages, one's located over at the Tropicana Field, and we have another one down in Polk County at Ritchie Brothers. With those resources, we'll be able to strategically dispatch them out to the impacted areas as soon as we get that information in from our damage assessors. So certainly that's the next phase for us. Appreciate everyone staying indoors, letting our crews get out there to kind of get the assessing done, and certainly, as you've heard a lot this morning, steer clear of any down power lines. Consider them energized. We want everyone to stay safe, and we certainly appreciate the patience of customers. We know nobody wants to be without power in storms like this, and we'll get out there and get the restoration work underway as quickly and safely as we can. Thank you.
All right. What I'm going to do at this time, I'm going to ask Division Chief Avery to come forward and just kind of tell you a little bit about what has been going on within our Emergency Operations Center and some of the activities for the last 24 hours or so, and what we will be doing for the remainder of the day to make certain that our community remains safe, that our response and recovery efforts are what they should be. Chief Avery.
Thank you, Mayor. So good afternoon. So we have been in operations. We're at a level 1 EOC activation. That's a full activation. So we have staff round the clock here, 24 hours a day, responding to the emergency, not actually responding out of the building, but taking in all of the information and the requests that are coming in for assistance so that we can respond and help our community get back to normal. We'll continue to be collecting information, coordinating with state and federal partners. We have the National Guard in our EOC. We have FEMA in our EOC, Region 5 staff, along with all of our essential support function personnel that are collecting data, reporting damage, just responding to any requests for any equipment or anything else needed. So we'll continue to do that until we are, in some sort of normalcy, and just to make sure that we get back to normal as soon as possible. Thank you.
Okay, now I'm going to ask Dr. Karsh from the Florida Department of Health just to come forward. Sometimes we get questions about the PSNs of persons with special needs, how we treat them and what goes on for those individuals, and we've tried to make provisions for them within our community. So it's an area that I'm going to ask him to come forward. He is the health officer for the Florida Department of Health at Orange County.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Florida Department of Health staffs 3 special needs shelters here in Orange County. We have operational shelters at University, Freedom, and Olympia high schools. We have been serving patients at these shelters all day yesterday and through the night. So far, services are going very smoothly. We are accepting new patients anytime today. We have medical and nursing staff on hand, and we're in constant communication with our dedicated staff from the Florida Department of Health. Right now, we have, as the mayor said, approximately 200 clients in our special needs shelters. These numbers are fluctuating through the day. We have some pediatric patients as well. And again, I'm just very proud of the work that the Florida Department of Health, in conjunction with Orange County government, has been doing to serve members of our community. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Doctor. I'm going to call on our next doctor, Dr. Raul Pino, who is the director for our health services department here within Orange County. I'm going to ask him to talk a little bit about what's happening with our other shelters and the operations that are underway there. He can tell you a little bit about how that is going.
Thank you, Mayor. So we are in the process of assessing damage in the different facilities that we have. There has been some flooding surrounding the animal shelter, and we are moving resources there to protect our pets. It's staffed 24/7, so the animals are safe, secure, and treated and feeded. So that is working well. We also has been responding to other issues in the general shelters, electricity, the medical examiner. They have some power situation for a while. That was also resolved early this morning. So they are back into operation. At this point, they are not going out and picking bodies that they have to. I know it's a sensitive issue to talk about it, but that's a reality. They stopped the activity last night when the winds increased, but there's no any pending jobs in that regard that I'm aware of. And the general shelters, as the mayor said, are in full-blown activities. Some of them, the volumes will fluctuate, and it will increase and decrease through the day as we assess in some flooded areas that may need additional rescue. With regard to the special needs shelters, our Director of Health just mentioned, we have extra capacity for approximately 100 individuals, and as we move some of the assisted living facilities that have been flood or damaged, with the collaboration of our emergency operations, we are going all to be safe, and we all will be well. We just have to work together. Please stay off the roads. Do not get on the water. Allow emergency crews and response personnel to do their job. Thank you.
Dr. Pino, would you also just share with them how, if they are interested in going to a shelter, in English and Spanish, how they're able to access those services?
So to access your services, the best way to access shelter services is to call 311. Your call will be routed to our emergency operations at the health services in our Michigan campus, and there the links operator will schedule your pickup if necessary, and they will bring you to the shelter. It's better that way, although they will take walk-ins, but it's better that way because they can assess your needs over the phone and be ready to serve you. Para las personas que necesitan los albergues con condiciones especiales para oxígeno, electricidad y servicios de enfermería que estamos proveyendo, por favor llamen al 311 antes de ir a esos shelters. Estamos aceptando a las personas que vienen caminando, que vienen por sí mismas, pero preferimos que llamen al 311. Cuando usted llama al 311, esa información es recibida por el Departamento de Servicios de Salud del Condado, se le da links, la compañía de transportación, y ellos pueden hacer una recogida en su casa y llevarlo al lugar donde necesitan ir. Tenemos tres de esos albergues. Es mejor de esa manera porque así sabemos cuáles son sus necesidades y estamos preparados para recibirlo. En esas situaciones se están ofreciendo servicios de terapia respiratoria, se le ofrece oxígeno, tenemos la alimentación adecuada y el personal de enfermería para proveerle esos servicios. También puede usted traer un acompañante, un familiar suyo, que puede estar con usted para ayudarlo durante esa estancia. Muchas gracias.
Gracias. And I'm going to ask Mr. Ed Torres to come up from our utilities. If individuals experience any challenges, if there are any issues related to water or wastewater systems, I'm going to ask him to kind of come forward and tell you about how you will access the services if you have a problem at your home. Ed Torres is the director of our utilities department.
Good morning, everyone.
In Spanish, if you don't mind.
All right. Good morning, everyone. As Mayor Dennings mentioned, Orange County Utilities has been able to deliver services to our customers. Water service has not been interrupted. We haven't had any broken water mains that have been reported or anything of the like. So we should be able to continue to deliver water services to our residents. On the wastewater side, our systems have been strained with the amount of rainfall that we have received. And we ask you to please, don't use as much water or try to withhold the amount of water that you use, because that water eventually ends up in our drains and our wastewater systems. So give us some time for the systems to recover. We have several pump stations that have been affected by the power losses that we all have through the community. And we're moving generators through the different areas to ensure that we have uninterrupted services. If there is an issue that you experience in terms of drains backing up on the wastewater side or things of that nature, please call our 311 number, and that will be dispatched to our crews. Our crews are out throughout our service areas in between bands when the winds are below 40 miles per hour, and responding to any service issues that we may have. Now, switching to Spanish. Orange County, el Departamento de Utilidades de Orange County sigue manteniendo los servicios de agua potable y de aguas negras. No hemos tenido ninguna tubería que se haya roto, y nuevamente seguimos manteniendo el servicio de agua potable. Las aguas negras, las bombas de aguas negras, algunas han perdido electricidad, y por eso estamos manteniendo y llevando generadores portables para todas estas áreas, y tratamos de mantener el servicio sin interrupción, pero en estas áreas que no tenemos electricidad, a lo mejor tenemos un poquito de interrupción. Si tienen algún problema con el drenaje de aguas negras en las propiedades, por favor contacten el 311, nuevamente el 311, y esa información se la proveen a nuestro departamento, y nuestros empleados irán a tratar de corregir esos áreas que tengan problemas lo más antes posible. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias. 311. ¿Sí? All right. And from the Public Works side, we know that we have continued to see some flooding within our area. And if you're experiencing flooding in your area and you want to share with us, or you have questions about what is being done to deal with the flooding, I'm going to ask the Deputy Director of our Public Works Department, Ms. Diana Almodovar, to come forward, and I'm going to ask her to do the same thing as the last two amigos. English and Spanish, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon. We have, as you know, some amount of flooding throughout Orange County, and Public Works is now prepared to go out and conduct some assessments of all the areas that were affected. These assessments consist on debris that came about from the storm, also flooded areas and blockage to roadways, and they are going to be deployed this afternoon, the first group, to go over to the west side of the county. And potentially tomorrow, if the winds on the east side of the county are diminished, then the other group will be going out tomorrow morning to make the assessments. And in that manner, we will see what needs to be done, and we can plan and prepare in a expeditious way to safeguard all those areas. Now I will say it in Spanish. Buenas tardes. Tenemos muchas áreas que se han inundado durante el día de hoy en Orange County, y el Departamento de Obras Públicas va a estar haciendo un inventario de todos los daños que han ocurrido, todas las áreas que se han inundado, todas las carreteras que se han bloqueado por los árboles u otras ramas y otras cosas que vinieron de los vientos huracanales que pasaron por este condado. Estamos enviando esta tarde los grupos de trabajadores para que hagan ese inventario en la parte oeste del condado. Mañana en la mañana enviaremos otro grupo para la parte este del condado a hacer todo ese inventario. Luego hacemos el plan para recuperarnos de este huracán, cómo solucionar los problemas de las áreas inundables. Exhorto a todos ustedes que por favor llamen al 311, marquen el 311 y nos dejen saber cualquier problema que ustedes estén experimentando hoy día en sus áreas. Muchas gracias. Mayor.
Muchas gracias y Dios los bendiga to all those who are watching as well. With that, this concludes our press conference today. Thank you for joining us.